Hello, everybody. This is Catherine Clement in Boulder, Colorado, and this is the weekly wellness Zoom. And we have a train coming by. This is the weekly wellness Zoom that hasn't happened for weeks, is what this is. And there's been a lot of reasons for that. I've been traveling, and I was actually out on the road for a whole month, which is a complete and utter life change for me, because if you have followed any of these weekly wellness Zooms, you know that most of my time is spent right here in my bed. I have spinal cord damage and nerve damage that it was making it difficult to sit, to stand, to walk. I do, get like bilateral sciatica. People are familiar with that, but I also have those same sorts of that nerve pain, that burning, stabbing pain in my genitals it's actually damage from spinal nerves, but that's what they service. So it's a little bit different than just a backache. Like some people might say, oh, my back hurts too. Well, yeah, a little bit more than that, but it doesn't have to make life miserable. That's a choice. And so, I've been sort of biding my time for the last 12 years, keeping myself busy, staying involved on the internet, surrounding myself with amazing people. Like, I am surrounded by the most amazing people in the world, complete visionaries, complete, I can't think of the word I want to use, but, just always giving to others, always looking out for the best interest of others. And I'm talking globally. Yes, in our own neighborhoods as well. And, many of these people have programs in their own neighborhoods and states and things, but we're also, and this is not one huge group, although we're all one, right? That, it's actually multiple different groups, but all on the same mission. And that is like, I just love that. I just love it. I love these people. They're, highly intelligent and so forward thinking that it just, blows my mind. It blows everybody's mind. Just, when we mastermind and some of the ideas that come out, oh my gosh, it's they're obviously coming from other places because our human minds, I don't think, are quite up to speed on some of that stuff. Although we have what I call the geekatroids, who are just like machines, like Vulcans or something, and they just can, collect and remember all this data and stuff. But anyway, sometimes I get rambling. It's okay. I actually waited to see if somebody was going to pop on, and I thought about not doing it tonight, and I thought, no, I'm just going to ramble tonight. That's okay, because I got a lot to talk about. I've got a lot to share. I went on this road trip completely by faith. I went from being here in bed, I would drive to the grocery store and back, but that's it, because it would increase my nerve pain so badly. And the thing about this particular nerve pain is that I had not found anything that would actually take the pain away. Like, I've been using cannabis, and I moved to Colorado, so I have a medical license for it and all of that. And cannabis is such a godsend. Oh my gosh, it is good for so many things, and I am so grateful for cannabis, and I'm sure, continue to use cannabis regardless of, because it has many medicinal benefits other than pain control. But it is good for pain. But with my particular pain, what cannabis did was it put some space between me and the pain. It kind of helped me cope with the pain, but it didn't really take the pain away. Like, the pain I have 24/7 pain that gets exacerbated with activity. And so, any, it if I use cannabis, it helps me do things like go to the store. It helps me go to the store. If I didn't have cannabis, I wouldn't be able to go to the store. Now, a little bit, I should change that to past tense, but I'm kind of laying the story here for those who maybe haven't seen me speak before or heard my story or anything. And I'm not going to go into the whole story tonight, but more recent events, which is getting past the last 12 years. So anyway, like I said, I choose to love life, and I see the blessing in everything. I really do. That may sound weird when you have 24/7 nerve pain, but I really do. It has put me in the position to help people, as I said before, on a global scale, which I was a registered nurse, so I helped people before this, but I can actually help more people from here and save more than one life at a time. Not that I was saving it, that's grace and God, but I believe that it is God and grace that has put me in this position. And were it not for the pain and the accident and the disability, I wouldn't have come down this path. I'd still be at the hospital taking care of premature babies in intensive care. That's what I did for 20 years. And I loved that, so, but because of not being able to do that, I had to find a different way to help people. And I also experienced, I lost my home within about 3 years of my accident, and so it wasn't the first time I had been without a home, but I certainly didn't expect to find myself homeless after being a registered nurse for 20 years. Our healthcare system is completely screwed, you guys. Like I experienced it for 20 years as a nurse and a registered nurse, and then I have experienced it for the last 12 years as a patient. The patient side really sucks, I have to say, not just because of like the health challenges, but because of the way you're treated as a patient. Even with my background and having dedicated my life to nursing, I was treated disrespectfully. I saw so many specialists before I had the surgery, which got these nerves. They were actually crushed for 5 years before I found someone who would listen to me and who figured out what was wrong, and we did surgery, and it saved my life. But it broke my heart to be treated. I even had a doctor in an emergency room in Norman, Oklahoma. And if I could remember your name, I would say it out loud right now. But I saw a neurologist in the ER there who just basically told me and my family who was there with me that I was lying about everything. I was making up these symptoms and I was just lying about them, flat out lying. I cannot tell you what that, I'm not losing sleep over it, but it pissed me off. You know what I mean? I was a nurse saving lives for 20 years, on call 24/7. I did transport. Plus oh my gosh. So anyway, okay, I'll try to jump down off my soapbox a little bit. The point is our healthcare system sucks. Okay, the insurance companies are completely out of control. The doctors have to charge these exuberant prices because the insurance companies are going to pay the smallest amount possible. So if they don't charge like 10 times what they expect to get, they're not going to get anything, So it's not the doctor's fault. There's definitely room for improvement in the doctor arena. They need to learn to listen to their patients, and they need time to spend with their patients to actually listen to them. With this technology that we have here with Zoom, telemedicine is growing by the day. Thank God for telemedicine. I wish it had been more accessible to me over the last 12 years. It's really just becoming, people are just really starting to engage in it well, and the technology is just coming around where the average person can partake in such things. But there are programs now where you can, let's say your child has a runny nose and congestion or whatever, a typical doctor visit, pediatrician doctor visit. You can actually get online and go to these websites. You can find a pediatrician, or it doesn't have to be a pediatrician, it could be a general practitioner, or even maybe even a nurse practitioner if they had prescribing rights in your state. Some states allow nurse practitioners to prescribe and others don't. But you could get on this program, find a doctor, the appropriate doctor, set an appointment, and then meet online with your child so that the doctor can see, and he might say, well, look, what color is the secretions or whatever, and, are his lungs, can you hear him when he's breathing? Does it sound like his breath sounds are tight? I mean, he or she is going to talk to you and ask questions until they feel comfortable enough to come up with a diagnosis, and then they could actually write a prescription for an antibiotic if they felt it were appropriate. Now, with that being said, don't give your child antibiotics every time they get sick, please. It really does horrible things to the rest of their body, and antibiotics are really tough on the gut, and over time they can destroy the ability to actually even absorb nutrients appropriately. So why would you want to do anything to your child's body that would interfere with absorbing nutrients when they're obviously trying to grow their brains and their bodies and things? So antibiotics are definitely something that is needed at times, but there are other ways to combat illness and bacterial infections other than antibiotics. And sadly, what we see a lot is that because sometimes bacterial and viral and even fungal infections can sometimes, have the same symptoms, they definitely each have their own cardinal signs, and people should be able to distinguish amongst them. But doctors don't always have the time to distinguish properly, or to perhaps run a sputum culture or something to make sure that it is bacterial versus viral versus fungal. What we see is doctors prescribing antibiotics for all three of those, and it's not going to work for two of them. So now we're running into situations with these antibiotic resistant bacteria. Nature will find a way. Have you watched Jurassic Park, the movie? Nature always finds a way, right? So these bacteria, they want to survive too. And actually, if you break down our bodies, we're made up mostly of bacteria. Like, it's good bacteria, but our bodies are actually made up mostly of bacteria. So some of these antibiotics, they kill a lot of the good bacteria as well as the bad bacteria, and we need those good ones for digestion of food and for our immune system and different things like that. So it's really important to start educating yourself about your health, and especially if you have a family, you have children, educate yourself about some of these things so that we can kind of go back to the older days where we kind of took care of a lot of these things at home through diet, having a good diet and growing our own good food and using that food as medicine, and using herbs and essential oils, which are a concentration of energy, of plant essence. Essential oils can be used for bacterial infections, viral infections, and fungal infections, and topical fungal situations and things. So medical ozone. If this is your first time, you might want to check through my channel and find some of the other. I've gone into more detail on some of these things on some of the other Zooms. But, there are other ways to handle these things. And I just really recommend that people not place if you need to learn how to take care of your body, you can't expect to just treat it any way you want to treat it and go to a doctor and they're going to be able to give you a pill that makes it better. It doesn't work that way. And we live in the most amazing healing machines ever invented, by God, obviously. And they are programmed to repair themselves. You have to give them the right ingredients to work with. But if you do that, amazing things, miracles happen. That's why this is called that. Miracles do happen. I've experienced miracles over and over and over in my life. And sometimes I call them God moments and different things like that. Even on this road trip I was on, I had this God moment where, and I am extrasensory. So from childhood, I have seen spirits and heard spirits, and I've had guides that have assisted me throughout my life. And so, it's God talking to me. Whether it's in the form of a guide or not, it's still God talking to me. So I call it God moments. And I was driving down the road. I actually, this road trip went coast to coast. I drove, well, more than that. I drove from Colorado out to California, Southern California, then went to Northern California, then went across to Oklahoma to see my parents, then went over to Atlanta, Georgia, and just meeting people that I love and have been working with for years. I mean, it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. Just to be out of this bed and back in a car again. I used to love road tripping. You have no idea. So it was just such a joy. It was also completely exhausting and mentally challenging. And by that, I mean that my mind was constantly trying to tell me that I couldn't do it, that I just couldn't do it, that I'd been in bed for almost 12 years. My muscles are, not the best. They've kind of deteriorated a bit. I have never had enough pain control in that 12 years to do any sort of physical therapy or any sort of prolonged exercise. It seems like anytime I try to do I'll start walking and I think that's going good. And then the next thing I know, I've just got constant bilateral sciatica and just a bombardment of this genital pain that is untouchable. And so I haven't, like I said, I went completely on faith. I wanted to make the trip. I asked God to give me something to help. About a week before the trip, a substance called Kratom showed up, and I had been making Facebook posts about this, so you might have seen some of that as well. But Kratom, Kratom, and it is, if you Google it, the first thing you're going to see is that people use it to actually get off of opioids. People who have become addicted to them, whether by choice or I don't know that anybody gets addicted by choice, but you know what I mean, whether they were abusing it to get high or whether they were just taking it for pain. That happens a lot. People get addicted to the opioids, and so they're really, really tough to kick. There's a lot of physical and emotional and mental withdrawal symptoms that happen. You can go into seizures, all sorts of things. And so people use this kratom to get off of the opioids because it actually stimulates the opioid receptors in the brain. It is not an opioid. It comes from a plant or a tree in Asia somewhere. But it does, I was shocked because I actually tried opioids. I hate pharmaceuticals, but when you're in this kind of pain, you really will try anything that will help. You just will, because it gets unbearable, and it takes from every aspect of your life. It destroys relationships. I can't. Matter of fact, that's why this wellness Zoom was actually birthed, is because yet another lady in our pudendal nerve or pudendal neuralgia community took her life. And I myself was suicidal for 5 years before I had my surgery. So um, we were losing about one person a month, and just because you lose hope, you just lose hope, when nothing helps the pain. So God told me to start something like this where people could come on and talk. And although I haven't built up the community much, I have, quite honestly, I've been horrible about marketing and syndicating, and I have not been consistently showing up. Like, I didn't do one for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And sometimes it's because I'm just too exhausted and in too much pain physically to do it. I think I should probably be flexible with myself, and when I have times like that, maybe just record it the next day or something. But anyway, I can do better. But hopefully the ones that have been done have helped people. And I mean, that's my hope, is that something I say helps somebody. I've been through so many different things, and sometimes just hearing somebody else talk about it, and maybe seeing it from a different viewpoint. Not everybody can see the blessings in things, and so sometimes just hearing a different perspective, sometimes just hearing that I found something that works to help this pudendal pain, called Kratom. It also helped my arthritic pain. And it's a powder, you have to mix it in a liquid and take it. And it tastes really, really bad. So I'm told that grapefruit juice potentiates it, so you can use less. That's one thing I want to say, because I've had a lot of people contact me about Kratom. And when you go to these websites and things, you see people using between, 2 to 6 grams per dose of this stuff. I just want to say, I was started off at a 2.5 gram dose. I had to go up to 3.5 grams to get really good pain relief. But I want to tell you, when I found the right dose, within 15 minutes, I could be in like really bad, excruciating pain, and within 15 minutes, bam, it's gone. Not there's space between it and now I can cope with it better, like with cannabis. No, I'm talking about gone, like don't feel the pain. Now, you have to be careful. For me, my injuries are not such. I feel like, if now that I have pain control and I can exercise a little bit, I feel like if I could strengthen my body at this point, that would help my pain, because I think some of my pain just comes from my body's inability to hold itself up strongly and securely. Like my core is super, super weak. And so I know I roll a lot of things into one, don't I? That's how I roll. It's okay. It all really does fit together, giving your body the things that you need. Never give up. That's the thing. I was telling you, my mind on this trip, it was a mind challenge. And if it weren't for my commitment, my personal commitment to mindset work, and to the masterminds that I belong to, like the Saturday Morning Mastermind, and I belong to groups of people where we mastermind. And if it weren't for my dedication to that mindset work, the trip wouldn't have happened. I mean, like, I might have started it, but what happened when I went to California, I went from Colorado to California. My first night in California, I actually experienced the repercussions of a Marine having a war flashback, and I had my wolf with me, and he was actually going to kill and eat my wolf, and he was strangling her. He had her both hands around her throat, and he was just strangling her. It was the most, I don't even want to think about it because it'll just make me cry. But thankfully I was able to like beat him off of her, and and she was not permanently injured, and I had wound up kneeing him and like injured my knee, and I was in a brace and on crutches. I went to, you've heard me mention Dr. Dennis here, and you know that I partake in his healing clinics on Wednesday nights, AccuWaveClinic.com. And that's about, I think about 8:30 my time, which is Mountain Standard. So right about this time of night is when he gets started on Wednesday nights. And he does a wonderful healing clinic. And I actually went and stayed at his place for a few days. And amazing. He was able to get me out of that brace and off of those crutches within like 2 days. I think the third day he had me walking on the beach in the sand to really strengthen up that knee. But the point was, when that happened, you know, here I was, I'd been in bed for 12 years, or not, you know, I'm not bed bound. Like I can get out and walk, but like I said, I have so much pain every time when I walk and stuff. So primarily in bed, I couldn't sit until I found the purple pillow, which you order from onpurple.com. I keep telling people purple.com, but it's actually onpurple.com. And I am going to be ordering their bed because this cushion is amazing. But order two, one for the house, one for the car. Okay, now back. I just have to throw that in there. And no, I'm not an affiliate. But, you know, when that happened, here I was in bed. I made the trip on faith. It was very traumatic what happened. It brought up things for me that I thought I had healed. And I'm sure that's part of one of the reasons why it happened to me. It was to bring those things to my attention that needed to be healed. You know, it took me back to some things that had happened to my life previously. My neck was broken by someone strangling me. And then finally he just slammed my neck against the frame of a car door with the car open and broken. But it brought that back. And it brought back, you know, just fear into my life, something that I had kind of conquered, or so I thought, you know. And so my mind was telling me, go home, you know, where you're safe. Like, go back to your little cave, go back to your safety. And it was telling me, okay, now your knee is messed up and you can't barely even walk your dog with the crutches. And how are you going to continue this trip all the way from here to Atlanta? I mean, my mind was just throwing so much BS at me. And I just had to keep telling it, shut up. Like, I am doing this. I am doing this because the Kratom is helping me with my pain. And it does help, you know, you cope with things too. You know, I had so many people I wanted to see. I had so many people I needed to talk to help. It was not, giving up was not an option for me. But if it wasn't for the group, you know, the people that I surround myself with and that I work with and talk with daily, you know, if it weren't for that support, I couldn't have done it. If it weren't for the mindset work, I would have just come straight home. You know, I would have just given up on the rest of the trip and come straight home and come back to my hermit lifestyle that I enjoy. And I had to just keep telling myself, you know, you can do this. You can do this. And so I'm harping on this a little bit, because maybe even if just one person watches this video, and maybe you've been maybe you've been believing. If you could hear what the specialists have told me about me, like if I believed what they said, I would just be off hospitalized somewhere on drugs, like completely gorked out of my mind. They've told me so many things that I will never do, that I will just have to learn to live with, that I will, have to have surgeries every 3 years, that I will, just be, at some point unable to care for myself because of the damage that my body has sustained with these different injuries and things. And it's bullshit. Like, don't listen to that. Your body is amazing. God made it that way. And when grace comes in, if you give it good stuff and then allow grace to come in, miracles do happen. Don't listen to what we call them limiting beliefs. Don't listen to limiting beliefs from your doctors, from your family, from your spouse, from your friends, and especially from yourself, because we are all amazing beings. And we have the technology these days. We literally do have the technology these days to, formulate things that give our bodies the things that they need to heal. Now, see, when I went on this road trip, I'm going to keep circling back, don't worry. When I went on this road trip, it was completely on faith. I'd only been on the Kratom a week. I had no idea if it was going to continue to work. I could have gotten to California and quit working. I mean, sometimes things work like that, right? You take it, you think it's going to be, it's awesome, and you're gonna just light the world on fire, and then the next week it quits working for whatever reason. That actually happened to me with a product that I took for close to a year. That, praise God, I have just found again. It just arrived yesterday, and I have 4 capsules in me. I'm already noticing differences, and that product is, I don't want to sound hypey, and I can't like make guarantees. I can't tell you that it cures anything. What I can tell you is it gives your body what it needs to heal itself. It doesn't just cover up pain. So I took that trip to California on complete faith that the Kratom would keep working, and thank God it did. Like it kept working. The Kratom kept working, and it's still working for me. But if I let it get out of my system, I'm in a world of hurt, like a world of hurt. So, obviously I take about 3 doses a day. Now I want to go back to the dosage, because I told you that, I finally, when I first started, the magic dose for me was 3.5 grams, but I only needed to take that dose for a couple of days. I don't even think it was a couple of days. It might have just been like a few doses or something. It was almost like I just needed that much to kind of knock out the pain, right? And then my guides told me that I could microdose it. And so now I only take about a half of a teaspoon, which is about a half of a gram of Kratom 3 times a day, sometimes 4, depending on what I'm trying to do. But literally, it allows me to, like, cannabis allows me to go to the grocery store, but I'll be almost on my knees several times at the grocery store, and I'm You know, I just shop for myself, so I'm not talking about a 200-pound cart I'm pushing around. I'm talking about a few items in a cart, if I can even push the cart, you know, and then I'm almost on my knees in pain several times with cannabis. But with the Kratom, like, I can just go and come back, and you know, it's not like I've just experienced Ironman marathon or whatever they call it, you know. Um, so the Kratom is definitely a godsend, and I encourage people to, you know, do some research, um, learn about it, learn what the side effects are. Some people get constipated from it. Interestingly enough, even with spinal cord damage, and I do have bowel and bladder issues, I was afraid of that aspect of it, but that has not been a problem for me with it. So it may depend on what strain you use. I use a stimulating strain, so maybe people who are using the sedating strains are the ones getting the constipation. So that may be something to take into consideration. But I am not an expert on the strains of Kratom. You need to find a website or a store. I have a local store with a guy called, the store is called Rocket Man, and it's here in Boulder, Colorado. You can Google that. I think they can send it through the mail. But he was the gentleman I purchased from was very knowledgeable about Kratom, and he, you know, asked me a few questions to find out what my pain was, and he hooked me up with the correct strain. So there's different strains, so you need someone who knows what they're doing to help you with that. Now, everything that I just did on that trip with Kratom, covering up the pain, when I was on this product I mentioned before, about 4 or 5 years ago, I guess, I was able to do a trip, not quite like that, but it was a trip, let's see, I think I drove 12 hours, and then I drove 14 hours, and then I was like able to push my friend around in his wheelchair and stuff. But I was not in pain. Like, it wasn't covering up pain. The pain just wasn't there. Like, if I let it get out of my system, the pain wasn't there. It helped me sleep, which is something that I have a lot of trouble with. Oh, that's another thing. I was actually on one pharmaceutical. I hate pharmaceuticals, you guys. And I was on one because that was the only way that I was getting any sleep at all, was to knock myself out with that. And fortunately, I can use, you know, just one dose of the sedating Kratom at night and get wonderful sleep that way. Now that I have this product back, I'm thinking I'm going to be able to come off the Kratom. Like, as wonderful as the Kratom has been, I don't want to be on it if I don't need to be on it, right? I'm not on it for the high. I'm on it for pain relief. So I'm thinking with the new product that I'll be able to come off of the Kratom and probably come off of the cannabis. Maybe I'll stay on some CBD, you know, just for the anti-inflammatory effects of it and stuff. But the new product called StemRenu, by the way, what it does is it stimulates your body's stem cells. You have stem cells, you have these cells in your body. They're called signal molecules. They know what to do. Like, they have God's intelligence or whatever. They know exactly how to repair things. But because of our bodies and what we do to them and our environments and the food we eat, all these, you know, different things, and as we age, certain molecules turn off. So when you take this product, it stimulates those molecules, and those stimulate the stem cells in your body to start healing things. Now, sometimes people go through a little bit of a healing crisis. If you've never heard that word, you know, look it up. Basically, what it means is that you've used and abused your body for, you know, in my case, 54 years, and now you just expect to take a pill and everything's going to be okay. Well, there's a lot of stuff there to heal, and as it's healing, sometimes it can cause some symptoms. Sometimes, you could get even like flu-like symptoms or you know, uh, abdominal symptoms or things like that. But it's a process that the body goes through of expelling toxins that it has collected. Your liver has to detox. If you've ever done any kind of a liver detox or a colon cleanse or anything like that, you understand that, the body has toxins. And my voice is going. The body has toxins, and as your body expels those, which it needs to, sometimes it can give you some symptoms, sometimes even skin rashes and different things like that. But it doesn't mean that that's going to happen. But you need to know that if something like that starts happening, you're not having a bad reaction to anything. It's part of the healing process. Now, obviously, anybody can have an allergic reaction to any ingredient. So, if you can't breathe, that's a reaction. Okay, this product contains egg, and it contains marine protein and some plant proteins, and so sometimes people have allergies to those things, and as with any product, you have to take responsibility and research what's in it. If you have a known allergy to that, then you would want to avoid that. So sorry, I have all these dings going on. So the main thing is, don't give up. Just don't give up. If you have a health situation, you need help, I'm almost at the top of the hour, come on next Saturday, or if I move it a day or whatever. Saturday night is not necessarily the perfect night for this. I may find a better time. Come on here and talk to me about it. Let's see. I actually have several different products that help people with different things, and maybe I have something that can help you. These are things that I found that help me. That's why I have them. So, but the biggest thing is, don't give up. Don't let your mind tell you what you can and cannot do. Don't let your mind tell you that something is not healable. Maybe it's not healable at the very moment, but the way technology is growing, we could have something next week that it could be, help it heal. So you just can't give up. You just have to keep that hope. You have to keep that faith. You have to keep listening for those God moments. I'll share the God moment about the Kratom next time, because I don't want to go back into that right now. But listen, I don't have to listen really hard, because sometimes God shouts in my ear. Or not shouts, but it's unmistakable. And so it's not like I'm listening for a wee, tiny, quiet little voice. It's very clear and direct. So some of the messages I get, but just don't give up. I hear, just look what's happened in the past month and a half. I went from being here in bed all the time to finding something that helps my pain, that allowed me to take about 8,000-mile road trip, with my dog, and meet friends and family that I hadn't seen in years because I hadn't been able to travel. Found, something to help the pain, the Kratom. And then now, once again, I don't know if I'm like, God's loving on me because I'm helping people or what's going on. But, once again, I'm blessed with this other product coming back into my life. It's an improved product. The other one, it came from a different place. They changed the ingredients. It quit working. This one is good. Excellent. I've introduced some friends to it already, and they are seeing changes too. So it's not just me, it's not like I'm just super blessed and everything works for me, or whatever, it's working for other people too. So if you want to come on and talk about it, if you want to connect with me on Facebook and talk about any of these things that I've talked about, medical ozone or kratom or the purple pillow or mindset or masterminding or this new product, StemRenu, if you and I have, if you aren't drinking good water, that's an issue. You need to be drinking good water, and I don't mean bottled water from Walmart either. There are ingredients you can add to your water and or filters that you can put your water through that can help you, benefit your health tremendously. And I don't sell all of that stuff, but I do know people that do, and I can kind of direct you to where you need to go. I do sell some things, but I just like helping people. I just want people to feel good. I don't want anybody to be in bed for 12 years. I don't want anybody to be suicidal because of pain and healthcare professionals not listening to them, or just trying to put them on all these drugs, or just trying to do surgery after surgery after surgery. And that's what I want to finish with here tonight, is the freaking mess that our healthcare system is. As a nurse for 20 years, as a patient for 12, it's screwed. Congress is not going to fix it, you guys. Your politicians on the local, state, national level, not going to fix it. You know why? Because they have really awesome health benefits. And until you have to deal with really shitty health benefits, like, you don't get it. You don't get it. And so we have to fix it. You guys have heard probably the overdone quote or meme or whatever you want to call it. We are the ones we've been waiting for. No, seriously, we are the ones we've been waiting for. We have to fix this stuff. And it's, you can't just leave your health and all the decisions about your health in someone else's hands. You have to, there's a book called Physician Heal Thyself. And each of us has this innate wisdom from God in each and every cell of our body. And if we can just support that and honor that, and really try to feed it good things physically and mentally, work on that mindset. Don't give up. Don't let a doctor tell you that you're just going to get worse with age. Everybody has it in their mind that we get worse with age. I am telling you, and I've been saying this for actually a few years, I'm getting younger. Like, I am getting stronger, healthier, younger. Yes, as you age, like, your body is not the same as it was when you were 20. So I'm not saying I'm like 20 again yet, although I might be. You give me some time. Now that I have pain control and I can exercise again, who knows? All kinds of things are possible, right? But don't give up, guys. I thank God when I was here in bed, I was still doing some exercises here in bed. If you're in bed, if you're in a wheelchair, whatever you are, even if you can't move anything on your body, you can exercise your mind. You can exercise in your mind, and you can exercise your mind and how it deals with life and how it deals with challenges, because everybody has challenges and everybody has frustrations. And life, can be a series of frustration after frustration after frustration. And you can make yourself miserable over that. Or you can roll with it You can flow like water. like, like Bruce Lee said, you can flow like water. You know, one of the masterminds I'm in, we just spent almost 2 years studying the Tao Te Ching. And one of the things that it did for all of us, I think, was it just gave us such a broader perspective, as if my perspective wasn't broad enough, but it did it in a different way. I don't know how to describe it, but there is a peace that you can have regardless of what's going on. It's not always easy. Sometimes it's very easy, and sometimes it's challenging. Like, I didn't expect to have to tell my mind to shut up so much on that trip, you know. Oh, I do want to mention, though, because it was very, very powerful. My mind, when I was out in California at Dr. Dennis's clinic, my mind was really going into some evil places. Like, I was able to beat him off of her and save her life and stuff. And by the way, he is being helped. I'm sure that was another reason why that happened, because he is being helped now. But even though I had stopped that, my mind kept playing that scenario out in different ways where I didn't stop it. You know, like, oh, well, what if I'd have woken up in the morning and she'd have been on the table and he'd have been there eating her? You know, I mean, it was going all these horrible, horrible places. And I told Dr. Dennis about it, and he was able to put a patch, an energetic patch on me. I believe it was called Nirvana. And if you show up at his AccuWave clinic on Wednesday nights at 8:30 Mountain, you can ask him about it. But he put that patch on me, and those thoughts went away. I don't know how it worked. I can't explain it. They are energetic. They're like phototherapy type patches. You know, everything breaks down to energy. But whatever it was about that patch, like, switched something in me where my mind no longer was on that evil scenario of horror and yeah, places I didn't need to go. So to wrap it up, guys, we have to take control of our lives. We have to take control of our health. We have to take control of our finances. We have to support. We have to be able to support our families in a better way without maybe having to rely on some of the things that we're used to relying on. We need to, I believe, as a people, especially here in the United States, we need to straighten out this healthcare system. But it's not just screwed up here in the United States, it's screwed up around the world. So let's not just fix it here in the United States. Let's fix it around the world. Let's see that everybody around the world can get medical care, because we certainly have enough loving, giving healers on the planet, and there's no reason for anybody to go without. You know, I've talked to people who are paying $500, $600, $700 a month for insurance, and they can't even get a procedure that they need or want or something, you know, like the insurance blocks it, or pre-existing condition, or I don't know. It's just messed up. It really is messed up. So we need to fix it. How are we going to do that? Well, like I said, I'm surrounded with the most amazing visionaries, and we're going to fix it. And I'll be glad to talk to address that maybe on another Zoom, because I'm already flapped my lips, as Dr. Dennis says, for a whole hour here. I wasn't expecting to do that, but there was a lot to talk about, you know, and hopefully, like I said, even if just one person sees this video and benefits from something, anything that I said, if one person gets pain relief from Kratom, job well done. So thank you so much. Obviously, I had nobody here live with me tonight, but if you're tuning in for this recording, thank you, and love to have you on live. I do have a weekly, Miracles Happen Facebook group, community, whatever you want to call it, group, I guess. And I'll put all the information in the description below the video so that you can connect with me on Facebook and get into that group if you like. And then I'd love to have you come on and, maybe you have some health challenges, or, we talk about financial health here as well. It's wonderful that there are all these amazing products on the market. And when you're just lost your home and, you can't work, you don't have any money to buy that stuff. It doesn't matter how good it is. You don't have the money to buy it, right? So I can also help you with financial health so that you can afford some of these products, because they can truly be life-changing. Truly. I mean, I'm not trying to hype. I'm just being honest here. We're talking about, being able, going from being primarily in bed to traveling almost 8,000 miles by myself, well, with my dog, so with something else to take care of, and sleeping in the car, and sometimes, because I would rather personally sleep in the car with her than go into a hotel and like have to leave her in a car or something. So, but don't give up. Let's take each other's hands and change this mess. We can do it. We just have to restructure the way that we pay for healthcare, which is what some friends and I are doing. We're totally restructuring it. And we're showing people how to, instead of having a health savings account that dwindles with time, so that when you're older and you need the most money in that account, and now there's nothing there, and they're having to sell your house, which in the nursing home, right? We are showing people how to have a health savings account that grows with time and just gets larger and larger and larger with more and more benefits, and reward you for taking proactive care of yourself, for doing good, the going and getting a massage or seeing a chiropractor, and there'll be mainstream medical services and insurance, and it's like I said, it's a whole it's a whole Zoom on its own. But I don't really have to talk about that, because we have Zooms where it's broken down really quickly in about 15 minutes. So I can just, if you contact me on Facebook, I can just shoot you a video link and you can figure it out. It's the easiest thing that it's like the easiest and most genius thing that I've ever been part of. And it's going to work. It's going to work, because we have a disaster, and we have a looming disaster. And I'm not a fear monger. I don't like to fear monger, but I mean, we have to face reality and see that the baby boomers are getting of the age, and they haven't taken care of themselves, the majority of them. I mean, if they had all taken care of themselves all their lives, we wouldn't be in such a looming disaster, right? But because they haven't, most of them have diabetes and, all heart conditions, blood pressure, blah, 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 blah. They're taking 2 handfuls of pills a day. This is going to be a major impact on our healthcare system. We have to recognize that. How are you and your family going to afford the care that you need? If insurance is costing $600 or $700 a month now, what is it going to be in 10 years? Where can this system go? Like, it's a crazy system. We have to fix it. So I am very, very proud to be part of that solution. And like I said, I'd be glad to talk to you more about that. But I've been yammering long enough. I did start at about 10 after, so I was going to about 10 after. But thank you so much. If you're tuning into this video, come and join me. We'll have a live discussion. I also love to have practitioners and people who have products, sell products that help people on here to talk about their product or to talk about whatever kind of modality they use. I do energy work on here at the end, so I will take about, well, I think it depends on the guides, but I will open up some sacred energies here for a few minutes before I close the recording. But and also, like I said before, if you have a condition that you're seeking help with, or you have a rare condition, or you have conquered a condition, I would love to have you on here to talk to me. Look through the videos. I've got quite a few over there, and you'll see some of the people that I've had on. And then sometimes it's just me yammering. So hopefully, as I said, hopefully this video helps at least one person. At least one, hopefully a lot more. Let's do a little energy work here. The guides keep shooting it through my body. I feel energy, and they've been trying to let it run for close to 10 minutes now, so I will be quiet. And you just want to breathe and relax. Do not listen to this if you're driving, because it can actually put you to sleep. Just breathe and be open. You don't have to do anything. You can just be open to God's grace and healing for whatever you need it for yourself or someone else. And I'll just be quiet while the energy runs. I'll even mute in case another train comes by. Here we go. Oops. Just take some good deep breaths. Okay, so whew, a little bit dizzy there. Um, so that came through fast and furious. If you were watching the video, you could see that I was yawning and my eyes are watering and my nose is stopped up, and uh, it can have that effect on me when it's channeling through like that. And sometimes people feel it, sometimes they don't. You know, it doesn't matter whether you feel it or not. I even know energy workers like myself who don't feel energy, you know, so that's not a prerequisite to mean that it's working or that it's real or anything. It's God's love, and it does work. And you just have to believe. Good friend of mine once told me, just remember Peter Pan. You know, you just have to believe you can fly. And I do believe that. And I believe you can talk yourself out of flying too. So thank you so much. I hope you received a blessing and a healing tonight, or maybe you know someone that needs this information. Please pass this video along. Feel free to comment, ask questions, and as I said, join me next week on Saturday, or get into the Facebook group with me so that in case I change the time or whatnot, you'll know about it. Thank you so much. Have a blessed evening.